Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers, Heat. 4 teams left. 4 teams. Now down to the race to the NBA Championship for 2023. Yep, we are itching closer and closer to a new champion. Hence, new champion. Because the Golden State Warriors were eliminated by the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 6. Kind of presumptive. I think we all can agree. But before I get into the 4 teams, I want to talk a little bit about the teams that were eliminated. Hence, the New York Knicks had a hell of a fight against the Heat, but came up short. Philadelphia 76ers and the MVP, Joel Embiid. The Phoenix Suns, I think many had expectations when they got Kevin Durant. Now they're without a head coach. Talk about them. Of course, with the now former NBA champion Golden State Warriors. But go over all those teams. We are edging closer and closer to the Stanley Cup Finals as well. Give my thoughts on those as well. Also, the XFL Championship game between the Arlington Renegades and the DC Defenders. Go over all that, as well as give my thoughts on some of the premier games that are on the NFL schedule now that is released. And not this week, but next week, I'll reveal my early standings, give my early thoughts on the schedule and, where teams will finish. I'm working on the NFL standings already, but next week, considering that will be a long portion, we'll go over on next week. But as far as this week, got a good amount of attention go through. But nonetheless, before we get into it, you guys got the drill. Click that subscription box there in the corner if you're new, you want to see more videos, etc. Click that box over in the corner, wherever it may be, as well as the subscription bell as well, or notification bell. Find all notification on the channel, but final that, gotta get it in before get into everything. So nonetheless, thank you. Let's get it going for episode 151. So, give my thoughts on, first of all, gotta go over the Golden State Warriors, now the former NBA champions, now eliminated by the Los Angeles Lakers in Game 6. So, now it's down to the Denver Nuggets and the LA Lakers to determine who represents the West in the finals. But when it comes to the Warriors, You see, it's hard to say because you looked at that series versus the Sacramento Kings. They were down 2-0. You know, they rolled back, won the next 3 games. Game 6, you know, the Kings came out with a bang, and then Game 7, it was back and forth, but the Kings just couldn't hit the shots when they needed to, and the Warriors held on. You see, we know with the Splash Brothers, we know how they're all going to go down. You know, their legacies are all tied with each other, and this hell of a run they've been for the last decade, you know, with Steph, Clay, and Draymond. Of course, with the couple years, KD was in there as well, but that three core with Steph, KD, and Draymond. Now, Steph did all right in Game 6. He did all right. You know, Clay was very inconsistent, I must say, throughout this whole series. I mean, just, you know, with the philosophy, when you have the greatest shooter that we've ever seen in Steph Curry, and that philosophy is they live and die by 3-point shooting and the shot making. You know, when that didn't happen and the shots weren't going down, it just didn't fare well. I mean, you know, Wiggins would do his part, you know, coming back. I mean, he was probably the underlying hero of the series versus the Kings. But Andrew Wiggins coming back and doing as well as he did, I mean, credit to him. But he was down. And Draymond, we know, defensive leader, the juice of the system. I mean, Draymond was Draymond. Obviously, he's not the defender he once was, but for a good chunk of the series, he was, you know, doing well on the defensive side. But the guy I'm most by far most disappointed is Jordan Poole. I mean, just, you know, just how he did last season, and then come to now, you know, you need another guy to step up. I mean, Looney, he was great, you know, with rebounds, you know, throughout the playoffs, but, you know, I mean, nonetheless, you gotta hit your shots, and they didn't sometimes. It's do I think I'm gonna say this quick because I want to talk about the other teams as well, but do I think this is the end of them as a trio? No. Do I think they can win another title with just them front and center? I don't know. I just don't know. Because we're seeing complexity in a weird way now with the West. I mean, the Denver Nuggets are going to be there for years to come. The Memphis, well, with news now about John Morant, I mean, they're still going to be good, but, they're up there to be competitive. We saw the Sacramento Kings and the job they did this season. They're going to be, competitive. The Phoenix Suns, regardless of their next coach. Yeah. Dallas Mavericks, you get my point. But, Steve Kerr, it's been a ridiculous trend of coaches being fired. And I doubt Steve Kerr joins that list. Getting fired coaches. With that, let's trend to the Phoenix Suns, who were eliminated in 6 games versus the Denver Nuggets, and it did not look pretty in Game 6. I mean, not sure what to say, but look, with the KD dilemma, sparked the same thing similar with the Dallas Mavericks. You trade your bench, you trade your top role players, you trade your defense, trade your depth for a really good scorer. And now KD's better than Kyrie. We know that. But, see, because the Clippers, we were talking about, or some were talking about as a title contender when healthy. But the thing with the Clippers is they just couldn't stay healthy. They were already without Paul George. Kawhi Leonard, he got hurt again. Westbrook did what he could, but props to Norman Powell as well. But, only do so much. And the Suns events. Now, with the Suns, they face a couple of issues. Chris Paul, not having him for the last 2 games definitely hurt. Because while people want to get on him for how he's been, since their year they went to the finals against the Bucks, Chris Paul is still a great handler of the ball and distributor. He can set up good shots for the rest of the team. And that's another piece. When you trade Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, and Jay Crowder, you had in your head It's like, okay, well, they still have Devin Booker, they still have Chris Paul, they still have DeAndre Ayton. You thought, okay, they can still get somewhere with this four. And but we saw the flaws really when it came to this series against the Nuggets because you know they won 2 games, but you know both their top 2 guys went bananas in both those games. And it was still they were still fairly close. I mean, Landry Shamet had 19 points in one of the games. So they were fairly close. DeAndre Ayton may as well be as good as gone for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, I get it. Joker is phenomenal. But, I mean, just how he looked in these playoffs was not great. Not great. For a guy that will probably want a max deal. And he's not going to get it. It's not. So, I mean, you're out Chris Paul for the last 2 games. DeAndre Ayton is not living up to what you drafted him for. I mean, it's just depleting. But now they fired their head coach, Monty Williams, for it. Now, here's what I'll say. If they had... Well, I mean, let's think about it. If they did not trade for KD, and they still had, those round of guys, I mean, obviously they would have beaten a depleted Clippers team. That's one. But still, running into Nuggets, I don't think, would they have looked more competitively sound? Sure. But, I don't think they would have beaten, I mean, maybe they would have won another game, but to win the series against the Nuggets, I don't know. But Monty Williams being fired, I think, is pushing it a little bit. I mean, this guy, not too long ago, took the team to the NBA Finals. They had a 2-0 lead over the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, yes, they lost the next 4, but, and then last year, obviously, the debacle in the Game 7 versus the Mavericks, and then, what happened here? But it's sad for Monty because I do think he's a really good coach. Do I think he probably got out-coached the last couple seasons? Sure. But, it's just silly how the NBA is so quick to move on from these coaches. I mean, it's just, yeah. Now let's move to the East. So, and we'll go with the MVP. Joel Embiid. And the 76ers went out in Game 7 versus the Boston Celtics. Joel Embiid is the only MVP to have not reached a conference finals. The only ever. You know, first of all, props to Jason Tatum. You know, props to Jason. I mean, I knew, you just had a feeling when they were down 3-2. You probably thought for a second, okay, well, Philadelphia may close this out. But then you think, wasn't this the same sort of Celtics team that was down to the Milwaukee Bucks last year, and they came back and got to the finals? Jason Tatum still on that team. Still, people are downing him for his, silly performances in the first half. Well, he had 51 in Game 7. So, I mean, hell of a job for him. Great job for Tatum. But I mean, the Philadelphia 76ers. Harden only 9 points. Embiid for 15. They combined for less than half what Jason Tatum had. The MVP. Now, look. I'm going to say this really quick. Embiid should have won last year. And I probably said this before, but I'll say it again. Embiid should have won last year, MVP. This year, he was so very good. And there were talks of Jokic winning the MVP for a third straight year before we heard some talk. Just some talk. And then Embiid gets it. He had a great year. Props to him. He should have won last year. This year, I don't know. But there's that. Harden, disappointing. The beard, I don't know what to say. But I was more proud of the Knicks. Considering how they were. How they finished strong. As opposed to the Sixers. Because, the Knicks did make the playoffs, a couple seasons ago. Lost first round series to the Hawks. This year, they were playing inspired football, or basketball, wrong sport. Basketball. And Jalen Brunson, had a heck of a year coming over from the Mavericks. So he showed them that it was a silly idea to let him go, not pay him. You know, Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, when he was on, it was good. When he was off, it was ugly. But, Mitchell Robinson, Obi Toppin, I mean, they have a really skilled team. And they gave the Heat a dogfight through 6 games. After being the Cleveland Cavaliers. I mean, just based on that, it was a win for the next season in the playoffs. Because, I mean, the thought was Donovan Mitchell was going to be there. He wasn't. He went to the Cavs. And the Knicks dropped him out in the first round. So, there you go. But credit to the Knicks, despite losing in second round. Tom Thibodeau, I like him as coach. They did well this season. Yes, obviously you want to make it further, but for me, they have nothing to be ashamed of with how they performed this season. So credit to them. Now, after that long-winded of talking about the teams that were eliminated, let's dive in. So, Nuggets Lakers. This is interesting, I mean, Jokic, of course, we got Aaron Gordon, Michael Porter Jr. I mean, Jamal Murray. You got that crew. Now they're together against the Lakers of AD, LeBron, Reeves, Schroeder, Hachimura, Walker. I mean, this certainly has the makings of a 6-7 game series, which should be fun all the way. I mean, here's all I'll say. I'm picking the Nuggets, but the Lakers are one of those teams that I thought the Nuggets certainly did not want to see in these playoffs on the road to a potential title. And this could get very interesting. This could get very interesting. As for the other side, it writes itself. The Miami Heat, Boston Celtics, the third time in 4 years. These two will meet in the Eastern Conference Finals. In the bubble, it was the Heat that took it, and I believe 6 games. Last year, it was a missed 3-point shot by Jimmy Butler, which sent the Celtics to the finals. They're going to do it again. They're going to do it again. It's basically the rubber match the rubber series. I mean, the Miami Heat, the 8th seed, the second ever 8th seed to make the Eastern Conference or the conference finals, could be the second to make the second 8th seed to make a finals. I mean, crazy. And I mean, you can't doubt them. I mean, my first prediction of Celtics Nuggets before it turned to, Bucks Nuggets, obviously that's going to happen. But I mean, Jimmy Buckets, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. But if I have to say, I'm going with Nuggets over Celtics. Right now. Right now. Right now. But we'll see. We'll see. I know those two teams that fought in the bubble for the title. I mean, crazy. These were the final 4 teams in the bubble. Now, yes, the teams are different. Yes. But, I mean, these were the final 4 teams in the bubble. And they're the final 4 teams standing right now. So, leave it at that. That's going to be fun. The XFL has officially concluded their first live season, and they have a new champion in the Arlington Renegades, who finished the season 6-6. And they took on the best team in the regular season, the DC Defenders, and I'll tell you what, that offense came to play. And my hat's off to the Arlington Renegades and Luis Perez, Bob Stoops. I mean, just what they were able to do. 35-26. I mean, DC was an 8.5 point favorite. I mean, first of all, they took care of business versus Houston. That was first of all. But could luck strike again versus the DC Defenders? Question is, well, yes. They had a 17-0 lead early. And, Luis Perez was drilling. I mean, for a guy who's traded mid-season from Vegas to Arlington, really credit to him. Really credit to Luis Perez. Stellar performance. Over 3 touchdowns. I mean, just commanded the offense. And very good. Very good. I mean, DC looked like it had a chance to get back into this. They really looked like they had a chance for a bit, but turnovers and just for the most part, Arlington just looked like they wanted more. Their defense was stifling the offense of DC for a good bit, and it just, yeah. But DC had very good spurts. I mean, Damian Smith, I mean, his 56-yard run to make it, what, 20-14? And, you know, you thought very well that DC was probably going to get back into it. But then the turnovers started happening. I mean, you know, it seemed like they got greedy at times, DC. I mean, in the red zone on one trip, Tiamu was in the rest and just tried to make something happen. In the end, he got picked off in the end zone. That was the first one. The second one was just great anticipation. You know, got tipped and picked by the same guy. So credit to him. You know, but they still had a brief sign of light or life. It was 35-20. It looked like Arlington was just going to grind this out, get the victory. But bad snap turns into a turnover for DC. DC makes quick work, gets a touchdown. Now it's 35-26. And of course, with the rules in XFL, that's only a one-score game, even though they missed the 2-point conversion. So, you know, went for a 4th and 15. Tried to do something, but Tiamu got picked off again. And that was basically game for DC, or Arlington. So yeah, credit to Arlington. You know, Bob Soup said best. Gelling well at the right time. You know, it's like, what can you say? They were 8.5-point underdogs, and they got it done against best team in the regular season. DC fall just short. I mean, they had a hell of a regular season, but could not close the show. So, yeah. But, yeah, credit to Arlington, Perez, Bob Soups, and the rest of the cast for the Arlington Renegades. I will say, I can't wait for the next season or of the XFL, because I thought that was a heck of a reborn season. You know, I mean, you got some good games, you got some good comebacks, we got some good opportunities, you know, because that's what it boils down to, more opportunities. And they got it done. Heck of first season back. So, kudos there. Now, the NFL schedule is out And, well, I'm still predicting games. There are some interesting games on the list already that are going to be very interesting to look forward to. Very interesting. And it doesn't get any better than how it starts. But I will say on the first game of the season, the defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs will host the Detroit Lions. I want to say this because if you're a casual fan or a fan that's like not so great with football, I'll think the Lions, that's not a great matchup. Or could be better. The Lions showed last year they are game, they are hungry, they are a young team built by their philosophy of their head coach Dan Campbell. Finished 9-8. You know, they are going to be ready. They are going to be ready. Now it sucks that Jameson Williams will be suspended, but the Kansas City Chiefs should not take the Lions lightly because, I mean, Jared Goff had a heck of a season last year. Heck of a season. Pro Bowl. Yes, the Pro Bowl is not what it used to be, but at the end of the day, he made the Pro Bowl. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown is a young, hungry, ready, proven receiver. You know, that offensive line is very good. Aiden Hutchinson. I'm sure he's going to be feasting on going to be salivating at the thought of going against two new tackles for the Chiefs. So there's that. And Jahmyr Gibbs, he's going to be the wild card. You know, we'll see. But it's going to make for an interesting first game. And then, of course, how you start, how you finish. The first week. The final game of the first week. Jets, we're going to see how they fare with Aaron Rodgers. Jets, Bills. Aaron Rodgers versus Josh Allen to close out week one. It's going to be something. It's going to be something in MetLife. You know, this is going to be the most excited people are going to be about the Jets in a long time. I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I mean, yeah. Jets, Eagles, I mean, gonna be fun. Jaguars, Chiefs, go around again in week two. I'm stoked for those. Jaguars, Philly. I mean, Jaguars, Bills in London. That's gonna be very fun. But there are obviously a few more, to start the season as well, we got Browns Bengals. I mean, we got some fun matchups to look forward to. So it's gotta be fun to look forward to. But anyway, guys, you get the gist. Yeah. Really quick, so we're gonna get, I believe the Final Four is now in place for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So as of right now, it's going to be the Vegas Golden Knights versus the Dallas Stars. It's going to be a hell of a series. Hell of a series. And then we got Carolina, who took care of the Devils, taking on the Florida Panthers. Now, if you're a hockey fan, see, I'm not surprised by Vegas or Dallas, even though I didn't pick them. Carolina, that series versus the Rangers in the first round, to me, could have gone either way. So, go with them. Florida Panthers, I mean, they are on a real roll. They're the hottest team in the league right now. I mean, the Boston Bruins are probably, the Carolina Hurricanes are probably looking at the Boston Bruins thinking, what the heck did you do? They were down 3-1. Came all the way back. First, the Boston Bruins won in 5 games versus the Toronto Maple Leafs. And now they are 4 games shy of the Stanley Cup. We'll see. I mean, if I have to pick right now, I'm going with Florida, and I'm going with Florida and Dallas. No, wait. Yeah, Florida and Dallas, if I have to say. But we'll see. Anyways, guys, thank you for joining me. If you liked this video, episode 151, leave a like, leave a thumbs up. Help out the video, help the channel. But thank you guys all. See you guys next time. Next week, I will have my NFL standings just for all you guys, but which will be long, but very good. So you guys can judge that, can critique that, etc. But it just, as well as the NBA Finals getting closer and closer. So we'll see. But see you guys next time. Adios. Peace.